Insightful podcasts. Insightful podcasts by informative hosts. Insights into Things, a podcast network. Welcome to Insights into Entertainment, a podcast series taking a deeper look into entertainment and media. Your hosts, Joseph and Michelle Whalen, a husband and wife team of pop culture fanatics, are exploring all things from music and movies to television and fandom.
Welcome to Insights into Entertainment. This is episode 92, Merry Disneymas. I'm your host, Joseph Whalen, and my festive and giving co-host, Michelle Whalen.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing today, sweetheart?
I'm good. I just kind of, I see all the stuff here, but then seeing it on the screen, I'm like, wow, Holiday just kind of threw up
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because, you have
had
to have something to look forward to.
Santa
right?
Claus and Hanukkah Harry just threw up all over our
He
set.
just went, here.
So, but credit goes to you and Madison. You guys did a nice job decorating the set.
Yeah.
You did a good job decorating yourself, apparently.
Thank you.
So, yes, this is our holiday special,
Mm-hmm.
or a holiday edition, I guess.
Right.
It's also worth noting that this is going to be our last podcast for 2020,
No!
which also means that 2020 is almost to an end, thankfully.
Thank goodness.
We will be taking a slight hiatus for the next couple of weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll be back after the first of the year with a fresh new podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully some modifications to the set here to compensate for some of the technical issues we've been running into.
Right.
But today we do have a Disney-centric podcast, I guess we can say.
Yeah. Obviously, if you are, into entertainment, which hopefully if you're listening to our podcast, you are, that the, Disney Investor Day happened earlier this week, or later this week, I should say. And, basically it was just 4 hours of everything, every division, entertainment wise, nothing with the parks. This was all television, movie, Disney Plus related, and really more information than we found out at, Comic Cons or anything else, throughout the year. So this was, and again, as we go through it, a lot of stuff we kind of already knew about. And here it was just more confirmation and, some timelines with it too. So it was just, again, it was so much information because not only was it Disney, it was Star Wars, it was, their other entertainment, entities. So if you're not into Disney or Star Wars, this probably isn't going to be, the podcast for you to listen to.
Yeah, so this week, Christmas comes early, courtesy of Disney. Their Investor Day had a treasure trove of new projects on the near horizon, which was what was the interesting thing.
Right.
You're only looking a few years out for some of these. So today in our Disney Detective, we're going to talk about some of the announcements from the animation department and from Pixar. Then in our Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy, we've got an array of new shows coming to Disney Plus for Star Wars, and we have 2 new feature films with directors that I think we can all agree on. In our entertainment news, sticking with the Disney theme, Marvel gets its due with a series of new projects and a whole bunch more on that side of things, on the entertainment side of things. And then hopefully we'll have time at the end of the show to actually finish up with our insightful picks.
If not, we'll just skip them.
We've got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I do want to invite folks to subscribe to the podcast. You can get our video versions listed as Insights into Things. You can get our audio versions listed as Insights into Entertainment. We're available on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Amazon, and Pandora. We would also invite folks to reach out to us and give us your feedback. Tell us how we're doing. You can email us at comments@insightsintothings.com. We're on Twitter at insights_things. We are on Twitch 6 days a week at twitch.tv/insightsintothings. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/insightsintothingspodcast. Or you can reach out directly to us on our website at www.insightsintothings.com. Shall we dive in?
Let's do it.
All right. Detective.
So, again, basically everything we're going to be talking about is what came out during the Investors Day. So they broke everything down. So part of the animation area, for Disney animation, there are a lot of projects that are in the works. There is a movie that is set to premiere on Disney Plus via Premier Access, so I'm guessing that's what they're calling their premium plan, like what they did with Mulan.
The $30.
The $30. Yeah. Now, they didn't mention if that's how much this was going to be, but it is Raya and the Last Dragon, and that's actually supposed to be coming out on March 5th of next year to Disney Plus via the Premier Access and also in theaters. So they're doing that. What Warner Brothers was basically doing, HBO Max and the theaters as well. Then they have Baymax, which is a series based on Big Hero 6 that'll be arriving in early 2022. Now, there is already a Big Hero 6 series that's already on the Disney Channel, so I don't know how this is going to be different from it. Then they're coming out with a Zootopia show that'll be called Zootopia Plus, and that will be hitting the streaming service in spring 2022. Then they're also doing a Tiana show based on The Princess and the Frog. I'm guessing that's also going to kind of help tie in the change to Splash Mountain, because they're going to be changing that ride over to Princess and the Frog, so I'm sure that's probably going to help with that. That's supposed to be hitting Disney Plus 2023. Then they're also going to be doing a long-form musical comedy series for Moana. Where's our daughter when we need her? That will also be in 2023, coming to Disney Plus. Then Lin-Manuel Miranda is in development of a new movie, Encanto, which is actually set in Colombia. No dates with that. And then there is another series, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, which is a long-form series that will also be premiering on Disney Plus in 2022.
Owaju?
Sure, we'll go with that. So the nice thing is not everything's coming out all at once. This is kind of like their long term, so we have things for next year, 2022, 2023. And we know that it takes them a while to produce and create all of these things.
Especially under current conditions.
Oh, I'm sure. Now, that's just under the Disney brand. Then, of course, you have Pixar. And Pixar announced a whole bunch of different projects. They're coming out with the Spark Shorts episodes, which will run on Disney Plus starting on Christmas, actually. Then they have a show called Pixar Popcorn, which will feature iconic Pixar characters, and that will start in January. Then there is a show that they are coming out in fall of 2021 called Doug Days, which features Doug from Up. Squirrel! So that'll be kind of cute. Then they're also coming out with a Cars series, which is following Lightning McQueen and Mater. That's coming fall of 2022. And then they're also coming out with Win or Lose, which is Pixar's first original long-form animated series about a middle school softball team. And that's going to be coming to Disney Plus fall of 2023. So that's all of the different series that they're doing. In terms of movies, they shared that they are coming out with Luca, which is a movie set in Italy about a boy named Luca, and that'll hit theaters in June of 2021.
Luca Brasi?
Probably not. Then this one actually already had some controversy. Lightyear, which is an origin story of Buzz Lightyear, who will actually be voiced by Chris Evans, and that is supposed to be hitting theaters summer 2022. And the buzz that was about that was, how dare you not have Buzz Lightyear voiced by Tim Allen? But the idea is it's not centered around the toy, it's the person that did the likeness for the toy. So that's the character that Chris Evans is supposedly playing in this. And then the last one, which I thought this is going to be so much fun for our family, is a Pixar movie called Turning Red, about a 13-year-old girl going through puberty that transforms into a giant red panda when she gets excited. And that one's actually in development, so there was no date for that. So
a giant red panda.
I can totally see our daughter going like, "Yep." Now I can see the big red panda when she gets mad versus when she, gets excited.
This is a lot of different things for them to be doing.
Yeah. And, and kind of with going along the lines of, the story that we talked about with Warner Brothers and their decision to release things not only in the theaters for those that can and want to go to the theater, but doing it on HBO Max, is that we're starved for new content. We're looking for something to look forward to.
Well, I think that's certainly the philosophy that Disney's banking on here, is that people are starved for content. I don't know if we're that starved. I don't know if we need all of, and I'll get into it more when we get to our
the
Star
next
Wars
part, yeah.
But everyone doesn't need an origin story, guys.
Right, true, and
we're giving a series to Doug the dog, okay? That's a little extreme.
And I could see that being more, something geared towards, the younger kids.
Right.
As just something that, and maybe it's because they didn't talk about what was going to be coming, to Disney Channel, just more Disney Plus. So maybe it's more along the lines of it's something like a Doc McStuffins or Sophia the First, where it's just that original content that you can only find on Disney Plus that's not on the Disney Channel. Maybe that's what it is. And again, it's timelines, for the next 2 to 3 years in some cases. So
and it's, a number of these, as they go through their development phases, I'm sure will either be altered or canceled, or
right.
You're not going to see all this stuff come to fruition.
Right, but it's nice to hear that there's so many different things out there and so many different types of things. Yes, some of them are refurbished characters, but it's nice that there are that new content as well.
Yeah, and there are people out there who absolutely fall in love with a lot of these obscure secondary characters, and would love, wouldn't you love to see a Haunted Mansion series
Absolutely.
come out? To tell the stories of Haunted, something
and
like
that. And that was what, the comic book that came out was doing. So
something like that is, that's how I kind of picture these, is you've got those people that love Doug the dog.
Right.
We thought he was hilarious in the movie.
Right.
I didn't think there was enough story behind them to have an entire series, but it's Disney. They can make a story out of anything.
Right.
We'll see. We'll see what comes out, and we'll see what kind of quality it is.
Yeah.
So that was it for Disney Detective.
Yeah. So a whole lot of new Disney stuff, in the horizon for next couple of years.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with our Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy. For over 7 years, the Second Sith Empire has been the premier community guild in the online game Star Wars: The Old Republic. With hundreds of friendly and helpful active members, a weekly schedule of nightly events, annual guild meet and greets, and an active community both on the web and on Discord. The Second Sith Empire is more than your typical gaming group. We're family. Join us on the Starforge server for nightly events such as operations, flashpoints, world boss hunts, Star Wars trivia, guild lottery, and much more. Visit us on the web today at www.thesecondsithempire.com. We are back talking entertainment news in our episode 92, Merry Disney Mass. And we are a go for Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy.
Oh, for some reason I was expecting it to do more than that. I was like, oh, that's it. Oh, that's me. So, as part of Disney Investor Day, there was a whole lot of stuff coming out about Star Wars. And again, a lot of it we kind of knew ahead of time. This was just more little confirmation and then a little bit more information about some of the things that we already knew that were coming. So Disney Plus is getting 2 new Star Wars shows, which are both spin-offs of The Mandalorian. One is Rangers of the New Republic, and the other is
Ahsoka.
I don't know why. When I look at it, I can't...
It's pronounced just the way it's spelled.
Sure.
Ahsoka.
Thank you. And then there are also 3 shows that are, and the 3 shows are planned to feature crossovers as well in the future. Now, we kind of figured Ahsoka, they were going to be doing something else with it, because you don't make this big deal about her, showing up in one of the episodes and be like, all right, we're done. So we kind of knew there was going to be something else, but the one that you were, a little excited about or interested in was the Rangers of the New Republic. So you can elaborate on that.
Well, with the Rangers of the New Republic, it's set at the same time as a Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is an excellent opportunity to finally bridge that gap from the original trilogy that ended with Return of the Jedi and the new stuff that starts with Force Awakens. We're starting to see hints of that in Mandalorian, but I think Rangers of the New Republic will actually be able to delve into that and the rise of the First Order and the downfall of the Republic Senate and all that stuff. So I'm not they didn't announce who's going to be in it.
Right.
But I think we've seen glimpses of that already with our 2 TIE fighter, our 2 X-Wing pilots that are going around and sort of policing the outer rim here. So I think there's a tremendous amount of fringe storytelling to happen.
So is it going to be kind of like a cop show, Star Wars cop show?
I could almost see it being like a buddy cop show type thing as they go around and deal with little things that come up around the galaxy.
And again, like you said, bridging that gap and showing you how the galaxy has changed since the fall of the Empire, but realizing...
It's like Lethal Weapon in space.
There you go. Okay.
So I could totally see that.
Yeah. Then obviously they mentioned Star Wars The Bad Batch, which they had already talked about before, which is the animated series about the Bad Batch of clones from the Clone Wars, and that will debut exclusively on Disney Plus. Then we knew about Star Wars Andor, which stars Rogue One's Diego Luna. That is coming to Disney Plus in 2022. Then the next one, what's that?
The Acolyte?
The Acolyte, which is a new series that is helmed by Russian Dolls creator Leslie Headland, which is set in the High Republic era of the franchise, and that is also coming to Disney Plus.
So this one was interesting too, because
Okay,
so far the whole concept of the High Republic was only laid out in the comics, and they had no plans for doing anything outside of that. This is the first thing that we're seeing here, where they're actually going to do some kind of series on Disney Plus, or I'm assuming Disney Plus in this case.
Yeah, coming to Disney Plus.
So you're going to be able to see those comic book characters come to life to a certain extent.
Okay, gotcha.
Which is kind of neat. Oh, and the other thing that's worth mentioning is the period of the High Republic falls within Yoda's lifetime.
Oh.
So you can very well expect to see Yoda show up in this. I would totally expect that.
Right. And then, and some of the big news, which, again, there were lots of rumors that this was going to be happening, is that Hayden Christensen is going to be returning as Darth Vader in the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Now, no real talks of, is it flashbacks? Is it present day?
Well, and if you look at it from a canon standpoint,
right,
when Obi-Wan and Darth Vader meet on the Death Star in A New Hope, they hadn't seen each other. They hadn't known about each other's existence since Return of the Jedi. So to interweave Darth Vader into this story, unless it's going to be stuff that's Darth Vader gets his own storyline out of this, and it happens around the same time as Obi-Wan, they had no interaction.
Or I could see it being something where Obi-Wan is like following, where Darth Vader doesn't know Obi-Wan's around, so they never have
Obi-Wan.
Right, so like they never have any actual interaction, but he's keeping tabs on him, because obviously the other thing too is that he's keeping tabs on Luke as well. He, Obi-Wan knows
Well, he's
about,
at least on the same planet as Luke.
Right, so he knows about the kids, so it's a matter of making sure Luke doesn't have any sort of interaction or any knowledge of Darth Vader. Darth Vader doesn't have any, so I could see maybe doing something like that.
I don't see us having any epic duels between Vader and Kenobi or anything like that.
Right. There's nothing where they're going to actually, anything that they show with them together, I think is going to be from the past.
Right.
Anything that you see in quote unquote present time, it'll just kind of be,
and that's a limited series too. I mean, they already announced that it's going to be a limited series.
Right. So that was kind of interesting. Then, of course, there was A Droid Story, which is a new project for Disney Plus, which will feature a new hero alongside R2-D2 and C-3PO. That kind of sounds like it would be another kid thing.
That's like Caravan of Carriage that came out after Return of the Jedi.
Oh, okay.
It's all a kids movie.
Okay. Then another thing that was kind of interesting was Star Wars Lando, which is a new event series coming to Disney Plus. So I guess it's just like a one-off. So I don't know if it's like a movie.
But
or if
Lando is it?
Well, that's the whole thing. I could see them doing like both. If you do
like a chronology type
thing.
Yeah,
like a young Lando to, and end up with Billy D. Because how do you not have both? Because again, that's the thing, at least Lando, like they were both very Lando, if that makes any sense. If you understand. And then Star Wars Vision, which is an upcoming anime anthology series, which is also coming to Disney+.
Not to be confused with WandaVision.
Right, just totally different one. So if you're a fan of anime, hey, here's a Star Wars. I know.
Anime is like the art of poor animation.
I know.
Like that's the one that's coming out of this.
That you're like,
not only do we not need it, I'd prefer not to have it.
Well, I'm sure there are some people out there that
I'm sure there are. Like the closest thing to quality anime that I've seen in Star Wars was the Gennady Tarkatov version of Clone Wars, the micro series.
Okay.
That was well done.
Okay.
Other than that, don't have much love for anime.
So that was all of the television stuff that was going to be coming. Now, again, you have really the only thing that they gave dates on was for Andor, which is 2022. Everything else they didn't give any dates for as of right now. And then obviously the news of the 2 new Star Wars movies that are in the works. So the one is actually going to be directed by Patty Jenkins, who is the director of Wonder Woman 1984. She'll be directing the next Star Wars movie, Rogue Squadron, which is actually due out in December of 2023. And then Disney also discussed the untitled Taika Waititi Star Wars movie, which was first announced in May, and that is now been in development. So no real information about that, but it is something that's in the works.
Well, and what's the most interesting about those 2 announcements are the directors.
Absolutely.
Both of them are fantastic storytellers, and none of them have a bad reputation with Star Wars movies at this point.
Nope. And from what I heard, not to cross over from Star Wars or Disney even, but the first round of reviews of Wonder Woman 1984 is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's giving it a bad review so far.
And the fact that she's doing a Rogue Squadron. Now, Rogue Squadron was a novel series. That was an awesome novel series. It was one of the better novel series from the Legacy series. And I'm hoping that they pull in some of the storylines from that, some of the characters from that. If they do that, it'll be awesome, because that's another one of those ones where it wasn't a Skywalker-centric storyline. And it really, stories like that and The Mandalorian and stuff like that really help to expand the universe. It's a big, giant galaxy out there.
Yes, it is.
And there's a lot of things that can happen, a lot of characters that can happen. And when you're dedicating screen real estate to Rogue Squadron, where you can get an ensemble cast and make them shine, I think it's a fantastic idea. And anything that Taika Waititi does, I love. So
oh, absolutely.
He could direct the phone book, and I'd watch it. So that was all we had for our Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy. I think there's a lot of stuff in there that is stuff that we knew, like you had said.
Right.
Some of it's stuff we probably don't need. I'm concerned that they're flooding the market,
right?
Much like they did when they started putting out new movies, like Bad Batch. We don't really need that because we know what that timeline's going to be, and you're regressing the story at that point when you keep going back and retelling old stories.
Right.
Andor, we kind of know how that one ends, right? So.
Well, and that's the interesting thing is with some of these, it's like, we know there's an infinite end to it. So how long are you going to be able to,
Well, and the way they pitched
it?
the Andor series was kind of neat. They pitch it as a spy thriller. It's almost kind of like a James Bond or
I can see that.
Jack Ryan type spy thriller type thing. I could see him going that direction because you didn't really get that feel out of him. Like in Rogue One, like he had a history.
Right. And you didn't know what it was.
And you didn't know what it was. But, just like with Han Solo, I don't need to know what it is.
Right.
You've established the character, the fact that he has a history, he's got a checkered dark past.
Right.
That was all I needed to know for that movie.
Yeah.
When you go back and you flush these characters out at a deeper level, you risk ruining those characters. Like they did with Boba and Vader and Han Solo and Chewbacca and every other character they went back and flushed out. The only character they haven't ruined so far has been Lando. Lando was even more of a badass after the Han Solo movie.
True. It helped
before.
to, make him.
But every other character they've ruined. So
how did they ruin Darth Vader, though?
Whiny Anakin becomes Darth Vader.
I was thinking Rogue One, where they made him the badass.
The whole prequel trilogy where he's this whiny little boy who misses his mommy. Like that's not the Vader that I want to see. I want to see the Vader from Rogue One, who walks down a corridor of
and
20 guys and
dead.
kills them all by blinking at them. That's Vader.
But you couldn't tell that he was blinking because he was wearing a mask.
Well, that's true. But the problem is they
Right,
ruined
I gotcha.
him before.
No, I gotcha. So they kind of made up for it when they...
Right.
I see where
So
you're going.
that's my concern, is that I don't need to see these characters flushed out.
Right.
You know? So that's where I'm always hesitant about that, because they've got a terrible track record of it so far.
Right. No, I get it.
You know, 1 out of 5 characters they got right. 4 characters they've basically trashed.
Okay.
So let's not do that anymore. Let's look to the future. Let's look at bringing new characters in. Let's look at bridging that 35-year gap from Jedi to Force Awakens, and let's tell a story.
Right.
Let's not retell a story and recreate characters that are already established.
I gotcha.
You're at that point, you're doing what George Lucas has done, and you're going back and re-editing the Mona Lisa.
Okay. Now, you didn't have anything for your Mando moments.
No Mando moments this week.
Didn't know if you wanted to...
No, I thought, there wasn't anything really that stuck out too much this week that I think bore discussion. So that'll be next week after the season finale.
Okay. But
So-
we're not here next week.
Well, then I guess we'll have to do Mando moments after the new year. And
Okay.
people are just going to have to wait for my brilliant insight into it. I know they're going to be on their edge of the seat.
They're going to be
waiting.
going, oh my God, when will he be back so I will hear what he has to say?
And I'll tell you what, if people are listening and they're dying to hear what my Mando moments are, I'll even recap the 2 weeks, this week and next week. Email comments and insights into things, and I'll post it up on our Medium site. I'll post the whole article up there.
Wow.
People, all I need is one request for
Just
it,
one.
and I'll write an entire article and post it up on Medium. Maybe that'll actually inspire me.
There you go. To do something.
What do we got now? That's it for Tales from the Edge of the Galaxy.
Yes.
We do have actually a viewer watching right now. Good Day Today is watching.
Hi, Good Day Today.
And they agree that Lando was a badass, so I'm there. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with our entertainment news of the week.
Insights into Teens, a podcast series exploring the issues and challenges of today's youth. Talking to real teens about real teen problems. Explore issues from braces to puberty, social anxiety to financial responsibility. Each week, we talk about the topics concerning today's youth. We look at how the issues affect teens, how to cope with these issues, and how parents, friends, and loved ones can help teens handle these challenges. Check out our video episodes on youtube.com/insightsintothings. Catch our audio versions on podcast.insightsintoteens.com or on the web at insightsintothings.com. So much noise. So again, our entertainment is pretty much about everything that came out again during the Disney Investor Day. So they talked about Marvel and what was coming to Disney Plus. So WandaVision, which we knew was the first Marvel Studio show coming out to Disney Plus. They premiered a new trailer, and that is actually coming out next month, January 15th. Then they talked about the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which they also had a full trailer, and that has a March release date. Then they had the first look at Loki, which is the Disney's short series based on the character Loki. That show will actually be for May of 2021. So it seems like a lot of the Marvel stuff is actually what's coming out first, because that's the stuff that they were working on before everything shut down, really, with the pandemic. Then we have Hawkeye, which is premiering on Disney Plus late fall of 2021. The studio also confirmed that Haley Steinfeld will be appearing in the series. And there were actually rumors about that months ago, because there were pictures of her in New York in the Hawkeye costume. So there was that. So of course, again, now finally confirming that. The series that I'm actually very interested in is the What If animated series from Marvel that will feature voices of the acting cast of many of the MCU stars. Got a new trailer and their first official look at the upcoming series. No date yet as for that. Then, of course, they announced Disney Plus Ironheart, which is which was a
What's
protege.
that, a vampire who can't die?
No, it's the whole Tony Stark thing where Don Cheadle will actually reprise the role of Rhodey, and I guess she creates an armor that's, I guess she's the female version of Iron Man, or, you know, the next creation of it. So that was kind of big news. No release date yet for that. Then obviously they had already talked about She-Hulk and Miss Marvel, but what was funny was with She-Hulk, they had announced it a couple of months ago that Tatiana Maslany, who starred in Orphan Black, that she was going to be in it. Then like a week later they were like, no, she's not in it, and now it's confirmed that she is in it. So it's kind of like, well, wait a second, you said she was, then she's not.
One of the worst kept Disney secrets ever.
right. And then obviously you know, they're talking about, you know, Captain Marvel 2. Then they were actually talking, Marvel Studios is working on a new Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special for Disney Plus, which will come out for 2022, and that will actually be directed by James Gunn. And also that will kind of coincide with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 coming out for 2023. And then they also said that they were going to be coming out with an I Am Groot series of shorts.
Oh, that should be some interesting dialogue.
When I heard that, I was kind of like, do we really need...
I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. I am Groot. It's almost as bad as the Wookiee scene from the original Star Wars special. Holiday special.
So that's all the different television stuff that's all going to be coming, obviously, to Disney Plus. And then for the movies... Obviously, you know, the kind of the big news was that Black Panther 2, they're not going to recast Chadwick Boseman as, you know, I guess there had been rumors that maybe they were going to recast him. They came out and basically said, nope, you know, we'll pay homage to him, but the story is going to continue, you know, past that. Then they said that a third Ant-Man film, Ant-Man in the Wasp, Quantumania, is officially in development. And then Doctor Strange and the Multi-Universe of Madness will tie in both the upcoming WandaVision and the third Spider-Man movie as well. And then finally, Marvel Studios is working on the new Fantastic Four movie. So again, a lot of the movie stuff we kind of already knew was going to be happening, and again, a lot of the television stuff we already knew, but now we actually have dates on that. And then, you know, part of the other aspects, you have the National Geographic section of Disney Plus. Will Smith and Chris Hemsworth will actually star in some series that are under the National Geographic branch of Disney Plus. And then they're doing an Ice Age spin-off starting Simon Pegg. So that's going to be, you know, coming to Disney Plus as well. And then, of course, with all of that, there's, hey, now that we're making all this new stuff in Disney Plus, guess what? We're raising the price. Which,
and I called that.
Oh, you
totally. It was just over a year, and they decided to raise their price, and you're going to wind up doing the same thing with this that they did with the parks. They're going to raise the price every year now.
So Disney Plus is getting its first price hike in March of 2021. The per month rate will go to $7.99 per month. Currently, it's $6.99. But again, most people have it in some sort of bundle. So, our subscription I think started in November. So we're good until November of next year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. How much it is. By the time, it's time for us to renew. And then, of course, Disney's new bundle will offer ad-free Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN for $18.99 a month. They also talked about how, they have surpassed, 86 million subscribers as of December, which we, had heard that it had grown obviously much more than they had anticipated for their first year. And then the other interesting thing is that they already started talking about Disney is unveiling Star, which let's try this again. It's Hulu replacement for international Disney Plus subscribers.
For those of you who have a VPN and decide you want to have that service.
Right. So this was something we were talking about last week, where there was that, we're kind of getting rid of Hulu, or are we merging it together? So for international, they already have it. The service will launch in certain European countries, Canada, New Zealand on February 23rd, and then is coming to Japan and South Korea later in 2021. And basically that was actually the one part of the stream that I saw, and they basically have, it's everything all together. You can just look to see what the sports scores are of games, or you can actually click to watch the different games, and you can watch things that are live, or you can click, once it's done, if it's a game that you can rewatch, it'll give you that option. So that was kind of, interesting, for that. No word as to when or if that was coming, to the U.S., but it is going, to the international subscribers too. And then another article that actually came from the New York Times talked about, all the different stars and characters that will be making returns to various movies and stuff that wasn't part of the other topics. So we had Amy Adams, who is returning as Princess Giselle. That was the Enchanted movie from 2007. So there's a follow-up, Disenchanted, that's coming to Disney Plus. Then also, some of the news.
Indiana Jones in the Search for the Sacred Walker. He's like 78 years old, and he's going to reprise the role of Indiana Jones again.
Yeah, so this is his, supposedly fifth and final one, and they're officially in pre-production now. And then, obviously, we had talked about Chris Evans playing Buzz Lightyear. Whoopi Goldberg is doing a Sister Act 3, which, okay.
Not sure we need that, but okay.
Sure. And then John Mulaney and Adam Sandberg are actually going to be playing the Rescue Rangers.
I saw that.
So that's, Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. So it's a live action animated hybrid. So I'm guessing they're going to be doing the voices of Chip and Dale.
Yeah, it's not who I would have picked.
Yeah, I wouldn't have.
Sure, I guess that can work.
Yeah. So, again, so much stuff came out of it, again, more so than we've, heard at, San Diego or with New York even. And of course, this year was supposed to be a D23 convention. Right. So I'm guessing maybe this was like, hey, we didn't have that, but we do Investor Day, and we'll just.
So I'm going to go on the record now with my first New Year's resolution and say that the first episode back of this podcast in the new year will have no Disney stories whatsoever, not even in the Disney Detective section. After this entire show has been dedicated to Disney, I think we need to have a non-Disney day. That's just my... Of course, I don't really believe in New Year's resolutions, and I never follow through with them, but I'm just putting it out there.
Okay.
So, just for the record.
Sure.
So that was all we had for everything Disney. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with our insightful picks of the week, which... are not Disney.
Nope.
Thankfully. We'll be right back. Go for your non-Disney insightful pick.
You're so I should have done one just because, but I didn't have any. So I took a page out of your book that you usually do, and I watched a documentary. This was on Amazon Prime, and it is Queen Victoria: Secrets of a Queen. It's from 2001, so it's a little dated with some of their references because they talk about
She's 92. That's really not that far back for her.
Queen Victoria.
Oh,
not
Victoria.
Queen
I'm sorry. I thought
Wrong queen.
Sorry, wrong queen.
So it's about Queen Victoria. So at the time, she was the longest reigning monarch in British history, which has now Queen Elizabeth is now.
Right.
So that's where some of the dated information is when they kind of reference that. But it was interesting. I have a feeling, even though it came out in 2001, it might have been a little bit older than that. But what was kind of weird was when they would show a picture of something, they would say the description of it. I guess if you were watching in closed captioning. So that kind of threw me off every now and then. It was like, here we see a castle in springtime. And I'm like, what? So that was a little, once you got used to it, it was okay. But again, it was interesting because I've always been a little fascinated with Victoria and how she came to, to be. And obviously, she kind of became, it helped usher in, this empire where, the sun never set on it. And, there's talk in it how, she really wasn't involved, but yet she was involved. And then obviously, Prince Albert had a very big part in certain things. And, when he passed away, she wasn't really seen for many years. And it wasn't until, many years later when she did finally, come out and was in front of the public, but she did help to usher in, the Industrial Revolution, and just made, the United Kingdom such a strong, powerful nation, at that time. And then, and it's just amazing, with all the children that she had and all the different countries that, ended up having rulers that were all based from, Victoria. You had this one went to Prussia, and this one went to Germany, and this one went here, and
they all fought each other during World War I.
And that's the other thing too, is that you had, siblings, at her funeral who, that was the only time that they were civil with each other. After that,
I'm familiar with that concept.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you are, interested in British history, it was only an hour long, so it wasn't very, very long. And pretty well done. So.
Okay. Very good. Nice pick.
Thank you.
So my pick this week is unsurprisingly, a documentary. But it's one that is kind of themed to our holiday special here. It's called The First Silent Night on Amazon Prime. Join renowned actor Simon Callow as he uncovers the moving origins of Silent Night. Simon journeys to the Austrian village of Ombendorf, as well as the city of Salzburg, where the story of the world's favorite carol had its origins. The First Silent Night introduces us to two impoverished children, Joseph Moore and Franz Gruber, not to be confused with Hans Gruber from movie
from Die Hard.
Franz Gruber, who grew up in Austria's cobbled streets and wooded villages. The hard years that shaped them would also destine them to meet one day in a poor country church to unite Gruber's music with Moore's text into this classic carol about the birth of a third poor boy on a quiet night in ancient Palestine. So the story itself goes back and it actually takes you through all these different places that these two individuals grew up in and preached in, because they were preachers, they were organists, and it tells you a story about the origins of the Christmas carol that had been lost almost immediately after it was created.
Mm-hmm.
And it was attributed to people like Mozart and Haydn and some of these very famous composers. And when people dug into it and realized it was really these two insignificant individuals, one of which, who wrote the lyrics, Joseph Moore, was so poor when he died that he couldn't even afford a funeral. So he basically wound up in this rudimentary, unmarked grave. And after they went back and they did this research and found out who he was, they went back and they built a monument to him. And now every year on Christmas Eve, there's a local choir who gathers around the cemetery where he's buried and sings Silent Night. Very picturesque the way they did this. I mean, they take you into these snow-capped mountains and these little villages, and it almost looks like a walk through a Dickensian, fairy tale.
Okay.
The way they do it. So it's very well presented. And just the history of it was really nice, because it's one of my favorite Christmas carols. It was one that was my mother's favorite Christmas carol. So it, kind of has a personal touch to it for me. So the first Silent Night on Amazon Prime. And we'll be right back. So I think that was all we had for this week, which was a lot.
Yep.
That was a lot of news. We will be taking, like I said, a couple of weeks off. We'll be back after the new year. But until then, we would recommend that you, if you don't already do so, subscribe to the podcast. You can catch the audio versions of the podcast listed as Insights into Entertainment. The video versions of the podcast are listed as Insights into Things, and that'll get you all the podcasts from the network. We're listed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Amazon, and Pandora. And in the meantime, feel free to reach out. Remember, if you email us at comments@insightsintothings and are interested in getting my Mando moments, I will post something up on Medium. So feel free to email us at comments@insightsintothings.com.
He wasn't fishing or anything. You can find us on Twitter at insights_things.
We stream on Twitch 6 days a week. This week, 7 days a week. If you are an Amazon Prime member, you do have a free Twitch Prime subscription, which if you threw that our way, we'd appreciate it.
You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/insightsintothingspodcast.
On Instagram, we are at Insights Into Things.
The audio versions of all of the different our entertainment podcasts are at podcast.insightsintoentertainment.com.
And you can catch high-res versions of our videos on YouTube at youtube.com/insightsintothings.
And obviously, if you forget where to find everything, you can go to our main website to find links to everything at www.insightsintothings.com.
And I think that's it. Another one in the books.
That is it. Have a good Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Yule, Festivus for the rest of us, New Year's, and we'll catch you in 2021.
Happy holidays. That just gets it all.
There we go.
Goodbye.